Hello there everyone and welcome back to RealScreenReviews.com. I'm Nick Iacobucci and joining me today is returning guest critic in the Ebert seat, Greg Hill. Greg, thanks so much for being here once again. I don't know why he keeps tolerating us here.
Well, for the same reason you always tolerate me, Nick. I just love hearing your thoughts and opinions on the movies that are out for us to see today.
Alright, and then I will take that right into our next review, and our next review is Resident Evil Afterlife in 2D or 3D, depending what theater you were in. And that movie opened in wide release on today, September 10th, 2010. And it comes to us from director Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed other video game adaptations such as Mortal Kombat and also the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell. And this time he returns to the franchise. I believe he started almost a decade ago with Milla Jovovich. It's a very tough name to say, but I think I got it correct. And at this point, I will turn it over to my guest critic to tell us a little bit about Resident Evil Afterlife.
Well, we start out and we see Alice. She's flying in an airplane and she's searching for survivors over this barren wasteland that has become the Earth after the T-virus has ravaged the entire planet. It's dried up everything, rivers, lakes. There's very small pockets of survivors left, and Alice is out searching for these survivors, trying to get to Arcadia. They keep hearing radio broadcasts of this place called Arcadia that has no infection, that is isolated. They offer food and shelter, and
they're basically trying to get to Arcadia then, right?
Basically trying to get to Arcadia, trying to get to this safe haven.
And what did you think? Right off the bat, is it a good adaptation? Now, I'm not a fan of the franchise, so I was trying to make the best I could with the story that was given to me, but Greg said that he is actually more than familiar with the story, so is it a good follow-up, do you think? Or?
I thought it was a very good follow-up, and I've seen the whole series multiple times, and what I love about it is that Paul W.S. Anderson is very good in the action horror drama. You mentioned Soldier and Mortal Kombat. He also did the first Alien vs. Predator movie. I don't know about the second, but I really enjoyed the first one, and he's really proven himself to be very good in the science fiction department.
I think we're going to differ a little bit on this one, and it's probably that I'm not as familiar, I think, with the background of the story, such as Greg and other people that are fans of the video game. One and the biggest issue that I had with this film, and I think I've seen it in other of the films, is there's no unity between the human characters that meet up. I mean, the whole world is ravaged by these zombies, and it's like when one human being meets another human being, they want to kill each other just as much as the zombies want to kill me. You'd think that they'd want to forge some kind of alliance to get through their safety in numbers. That never seems to fit any of the people in this movie specifically. It was just one of those things that kind of got to me.
Yeah, that was a little more prevalent in this movie, but in the past, in the series, that's what they have done. Especially in the last movie, they had banded together. And then the alliance that Alice was a part of eventually ended up breaking off, and that's when they start their journey to Alaska.
Another thing I thought that the main villain, the main villain, he's got slick back hair, he's got dark glasses, he talks very articulate. He reminded me so much of Agent Smith from the Matrix movies, and even the way that he moved lightning fast. He seemed almost like a carbon copy of Agent Smith from The Matrix. I think this is a good movie as far as it being a 3D entertaining movie, but you take away the 3D effects, and I don't think I probably would have cared for this movie pretty much at all, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is more made for the fans of the video game, which I'm a huge fan of, and we do differ once again.
Yes, absolutely.
In my opinion, Albert Wesker is one of my favorite villains ever. Especially in video games. I mean, just because he's so arrogant, and he's just one of those guys that you love to hate. And I thought Sean Roberts did a very good job portraying that from the video game. I really enjoyed it.
He was good. He was very good.
And being a fan of the series, it's been so cool to watch the evolution of the character Alice from the first movie all the way through to the fourth one, the current one. And just the changes, and you can really tell she's become comfortable with the character, and I really enjoyed watching her performance.
See, now what I thought they should have called down 2 theaters over and got the piranhas in 3D to come swimming upstream, and they could have eaten all the zombies in this movie, because I think that's about the only way that we could have gotten rid of them, because there's just so many zombies in this movie, and I don't know how else you would deal with them. I think the movie's sleek, and I think it looks good, but I really think there's, for even what it is, it being a video game and a horror film, I didn't think it really did much for me. I thought some of the talents I thought were wasted. I just thought this was just your basic slap together kind of movie. I don't know. This one just did not resonate with me in the least. You know, I feel bad because I feel like I'm stabbing the people in the back because I feel like the filmmakers probably made this movie for the fans of the video game and for the fans of the source material, and I'm just not one of those, and this just did not hit well with me at all, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, you're right, and there are throngs of Resident Evil fans out there, like I said, myself included.
Right.
And I think if you're a fan of the video games and of the series of movies, you will really enjoy this movie. I didn't have the pleasure of seeing it in 3D, and for myself, I'm going to go back and see it again in 3D because it just, if you're a fan of the game, it does offer something else, a different aspect that it'll just make you enjoy the movie even more.
Well, I saw it in 3D, and I'm not going back to see it in 2D ever. I'm probably not going to see this movie when it comes out on DVD either. But let's just we'll cut to how many stars we're going to give it. And Greg, how many stars are you going to give this?
Well, you obviously already know that I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil franchise, movies, and video games. So I really enjoyed this movie, other than a couple things that still made me go, what? I gave this movie 3.5 stars. If you're a fan of the franchise, it's definitely worth your time and money to go see this, especially in 3D.
I'm not going to give this any kind of a favorable recommendation. I don't think it's a really good movie. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I did see it in 3D, I probably would have given it even less. I'm going to give it a 1.5 stars. I'm going to say that the 3D effects looked good, that that the movie's well put together. I said the same thing about The American from just a few days ago. I said that it's well put together. I don't see the cameras hanging from the ceiling. So that alone is worth it. I'll give it a 1.5 stars. I'll give it the other 0.5 star because I like the 3D effects. And well, Greg, thank you so much for being here, even though we disagree on this one.
It's the first time.
The first time we've disagreed. And but don't worry, Greg is going to definitely be back. What are we getting at next time? Is it going to be
the movie Red?
Red. The Red comes out in about a month. That's an action movie starring Bruce Willis and Helen Mirren. And Greg will definitely be back in the Ebert seat to review that one with us. But until then, we will end this with...
Remember, folks, we're not always right. Only when it comes to the movies.
And thank you very much for your attention.